Family Homestead back at you, man. Hope everybody's having a blessed day. Hope everybody is in sound mind, good spirits, and protecting their ruach. Man, today I'm going to come at you from a different angle. On this channel, my homesteading channel, you know, I pretty much show you fruit. That's what you guys get to see on this channel. I get to show you fruit and you get to see works. But, you know, don't for a second think that these are just works alone. I'm simply, through what I'm showcasing to you on this channel, showing you what I believe, showing you my faith by my works, like the book says. And, on this channel, man, I just give you another perspective of how to return to the old path, how to get out of the system, how to avoid some of the pitfalls and snares that people fall into by being dependent on the system. And that's one of the goals of this homesteading channel. But what I want you to do and consider is consider this next statement. Even if you are somebody that's not in the faith, you could be somebody on the other side of the world, but just consider this statement. You will never regret being prepared. Pay attention to the signs. Right now, man, there's all kind of stuff going on, and I'm always keeping my ear tuned into it. That way I can expand our homestead and be able to purchase more lands and do things like that in the near future. But what you see back there is you see those cows grazing. By living on a homestead and having neighbors that have been ranchers and farmers and raising cattle for 3 and 4 generations, I got access to be able to, pretty much ask my neighbor and say, hey man, let me buy one of your heifers and go get them butchered. And I know it's good Angus beef. I watch the trucks as they bring hay in. I watch how they move them from pasture to pasture. But the goal is to be able to be self-sustaining and not have to buy from anybody else because I'm sustaining my own. But I'm not quite there in the journey yet. But when you look at, what's going on in the world, man, I've seen videos where they're making lab-grown fish, lab-grown salmon. In Germany, people don't know that they have just passed where, worms and different type of, they call them mealworms, but they're different type of genetically modified worms that they're approving for, human consumption. And, that's just on the rise before it hits here. It's just a matter of time before it hits here, because if you look at some of the food ingredients on the things that are already being sold, a lot of times the ingredients in there are not what you think, you are consuming. When it comes to beef and cattle, a lot of this beef that you buy in the grocery store, this is why that stuff is turning on you after a month, because it's not coming from pastures that look like this. It's coming from, in shipping containers. It's coming from all over the world, and by the time it gets here, it's near spoilage. Pay attention to the signs. Man, there has never been a time to where I have not regretted saving my money because I knew a financial tribulation or something would happen. It can be a water heater, it can be the starter on your vehicle, it can be anything, but you will never regret being prepared. And some people would say, man, you're crazy, for homesteading and living like a hillbilly. Hey, to each his own. But one thing that you will be able to rest sure of, man, when things take a toll for the worse, I'm gonna be able to grow me some food. I'm gonna have me some meat. I don't care if I gotta butcher my goats. I will be able to have my doggone chickens, my eggs. I'm gonna be able to weather the storm when it comes to food storage, making sure I have canned goods, making sure I have items like rice, pasta, beans that I can store and that have a 10-15 year life expectancy on them, versus a lot of these perishable foods that once you consume them and you're buying this stuff on a consistent basis, if the grocery store runs out of food, like they have in the past, you won't be able to purchase it. Man, the sign for me was COVID. I remember going to the grocery store and they had those family packs of chicken, and for my household of, now five, one of them family packs of chicken, man, that'll last us one meal, if that. And the children is gonna be, wanting more. So thinking about that, I saw that and they had those signs in the store saying one pack per household. I was like, man, this ain't gonna work. So fast forward, man, we went from living in an HOA neighborhood, heart of the city, a lot of rules, a lot of restrictions, to here where we can raise goats, where we can raise chickens. If I wanted cattle and had the space for them, I would be able to do so. But pay attention to the signs. There's a lot going on with these tariffs right now, and this video is not geared towards getting you to sway one way, but getting you to focus on you won't regret being prepared. You won't regret being prepared. Now, you can just look at it and realize that everything is going to go up. Historically, everything has gone up. You go back 10 years, you go back a year, you go back, 15 years, 50 years, the price of goods is steady increasing. I'll tell you this, contrary to the tariff wars or not, when it comes down to your basic items, deodorant, toilet paper, paper towel, stuff that you use on a regular basis, if you have some excess money to be able to stock up on this stuff at the price that you can get it at today, you will have fared very well. Because if I buy a year's worth of toilet paper and the price of toilet paper goes up another 10 cents and continues to do that, every 90 days or every quarter, man, I fared pretty well, because I've got it for a set amount of time. I've got it locked in at a certain price that I bought it at. But you have to take advantage of this. I encourage people to look at precious metals. You look at the price of land. Man, the price, like I can tell you out where I live, the price of land, if we look historically, you look up at the city records and things like that, man, the price of this land has like quadrupled over the price, over the term of a period of like 15 years. So the price that you get things today are not going to be the prices tomorrow. One thing people don't understand about these tariffs is, even though the manufacturer is an American manufacturer, a lot of the parts and technologies that are making up a lot of this stuff, if you look at a Ford or a Chevy car or pickup truck, yeah, even though these are United States or American manufacturers, when you break down the components of them, you look at the transmission, you look at the drive shaft, you look at every aspect of these vehicles, these things got parts coming from everywhere. So you would fare well if you looked at everything in your life, far as the consumables that you use and are often have to go out and replenish. Make a list of those consumables and make a list of the ones that come from other countries. Because in order for stuff to get back to the point of being American made, it's gonna take some time. And what that may mean is, we know historically that the price of goods is gonna go up, and you can get ahead of it by getting it for today's price. You see what I'm saying? I've noticed an incline just in the period of 3 years that I've been homesteading. I'm getting ready to go get some more egg layers, and the price of those things have even went up. I remember being able to go to Tractor Supply Atwood when we first moved here and get some egg layers for like $2.50, $3. And now, man, they're upwards of doggone $7.50. And the price that you pay today is not going to be the price that you're going to pay tomorrow. You can expect it to be more. And with the climate the way it is, you can expect some larger spikes. you will never regret having a surplus of things that you use on a consistent basis. I'll give you a cheat code. The cost of energy is gonna go up. If you're somebody that's in the city, you got electric, or gas, and you're using that for heating. The price of this stuff is gonna go up. And a free resource that you can have if you homestead is you can call companies that remove trees and cut down trees, and if you have the space, they will come dump the trees on your property already cut up. Only thing you got to do is split it. Man, there goes your doggone heating bill right there out the window. So, man, there's a lot of different ways that you can get ahead for the moment and beat certain things, but you have to get prepared. Me as a man walking in the ways, man, I'm not willing to be dependent on the system for them to be able to feed me when the Bible, the basic instructions before leaving earth tells us to return to the old paths. Build ye houses and plant you gardens, live in them, eat thereof. I'm not going to be standing in a line like I've seen in third world countries, in other countries when I've been there, standing in a line with a bowl with my children behind me, waiting to get something to eat. I'd rather get them heirloom seeds and learn how to, develop a green thumb and be able to grow me some food, be able to learn what it means to be a shepherd of livestock and of sheep and goats and things like that. That's going to help my family weather the storm. And regardless of what people think, man, I don't know anybody that's ever regretted being prepared, and that's the goal of this message. You know, prepare while you have the opportunity, and be mindful of the time. Be mindful of the times. I could care less about going to the mall, buying new shoes and buying new clothes, because when the storm comes, that's gonna be the last thing on your mind. You're gonna be worried about, man, my doggone belly button is touching my doggone spine. That's what folk don't realize. Right now, you're distracted by a lot of this stuff, but at the essence, man, the simple stuff, the basics that can help you maintain life, you know, people don't want to do the work and prepare for it. But I'll tell you again, you won't regret being prepared. Whatever that means to you, you won't regret being prepared. Pay attention to the times, pay attention to the signs. Rocker Family Homestead, out.